Matthew chapter 15 and verse 14. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch.
The mark of the beast. Some people think it's a computer chip, barcode, tattoo, vaccine, credit card, social security number, 666, and the list goes on. But if we want to know what the mark of the beast is, we must first know who the beast is. Imagine with me, if you will, if the scripture said it was the mark of Bob. You and I would then have to go find out who Bob was, locate Bob, and then ask Bob, what is your mark? We're told in Revelation 14 verse 6 that if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God. Over in the next chapter, Revelation 15 verse 1, we're told that the wrath of God is the 7 last plagues. Now, who is this beast that's mentioned in Revelation 14? Well, it's the beast from Revelation 13. Now, there are 2 beasts in Revelation 13, and to be true to context, it is the first beast that's being referenced. We know this because the second beast causes the whole world to receive the mark of the beast and to worship the first beast. As we've covered many times before, a beast in Bible prophecy is a symbol of a nation or a kingdom. Daniel 7 verse 17 and verse 23. And we know without a shadow of a doubt that first beast in Revelation 13 is the Roman Catholic papacy. And now we read Cardinal Gibbons, quote, "Of course the Catholic Church claims that the change Saturday Sabbath to Sunday was her act, and the act is a mark of her ecclesiastical authority in religious things." Quote, "Sunday is our mark or authority. The church is above the Bible, and this transfer of Sabbath observance is proof of that fact." Catholic Record of London. So what does all that mean?
Call halal Yahweh Bashem Shai, Bashem Dash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the bishops, teachers, elders alike, and better known as Great Millstone, GMS, who taught me this 144% truth. And peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect that be like the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners scattered across the 4 corners of the earth. And, what more can I say? Our people are waxing worse and worse as these last days, continue to push forth ahead to the downfall and destruction of this wicked Edomite empire that's currently ruling right now. And I've dealt with this individual in the past when I first came on the platform of TikTok, and we went back and forth. But, the scriptures is on point when it says, let the blind lead the blind. And clearly this individual has no understanding. So I want to just take this video back and replay it. And we're going to dissect this video to see, going into the scriptures, if he's on point.
The mark of the beast. Some people think it's a computer chip, barcode, tattoo, vaccine, credit card, social security number, 666, and the list goes on. But if we want to know what the mark of the beast is, we must first know who the beast is. Imagine with me, if you will, if the scripture said it was the mark of Bob. You and I would then have to go find out who Bob was, locate Bob, and then ask Bob, what is your mark? We're told in Revelation 14 verse 6 that if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God. Over in the next chapter, Revelation 15 verse 1, we're told that the wrath of God is the 7 last plagues. Now, who is this beast that's mentioned in Revelation 14? Well, it's the beast from Revelation 13. Now, there are 2 beasts in Revelation 13, and to be true to context, it is the first beast that's being referenced. We know this because the second beast causes the whole world to receive the mark of the beast and to worship the first beast. As we've covered many times before, a beast in Bible prophecy is a symbol of a nation or a kingdom. Daniel 7 verse 17 and verse 23. And we know without a shadow of a doubt that first beast in Revelation 13 is the Roman Catholic papacy.
Now, do you guys see what he just said? I'm going to play it back a little bit because he just contradicted himself. Let's go back.
This because the second beast causes the whole world to receive the mark of the beast and to worship the first beast. As we've covered many times before, a beast in Bible prophecy is a symbol of a nation or a
which is correct. And it tells you that in Daniel, the 7th chapter.
kingdom. Daniel 7 verse 17 and verse 23. And we know without a shadow of a doubt that first beast in Revelation 13 is the Roman Catholic papacy.
Let's stop right there. How can, if Daniel, the 7th chapter tells us that a beast is a representation of a nation, when you get the full understanding, how can then the Catholic Church be a nation? How can the Roman Catholic Church be a nation, right? So let's deal with that. Let's go to Revelation, the 13th chapter, and let's get the understanding. Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. Pardon me. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. Now, the beast that rose up out of the sea, okay, is talking about the ancient Roman Empire, because when you go to Daniel, right, what you want to grab, Daniel, the 7th chapter, and right around the 7th verse, it tells you about the 4th beast, okay, which being the ancient Roman Empire, because you had, it was going to be 4 beasts that were going to rule before the Israelites get the kingdom. And we know that the first beast was the Babylonian Empire, along with the Assyrians. Okay, first the Assyrians came in, and then the Babylonians took them down and joined themselves. All right, known as the Neo-Babylonian Empire. Then you had the Medo-Persian Empire, the second beast. Then you had the Greek Empire. Okay, started with Alexander the Great, led by his 4 generals: Lacedaemon, Cassandra, okay, Ptolemy. All right, and what was the other one? Seleucus. Then you had the 4th beast, which was the ancient Roman Empire, right? So we understand that this is Daniel 7:7. After this, I saw the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. Okay, which the iron teeth represents is weaponry. Okay, because they made their weapons out of iron, like swords and stuff like that. The shield, iron, and all of that. It devoured and break in pieces, because everywhere they went, they tore down many strongholds. They made tributaries out of lands that they conquered, and so forth, and stampede the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and had 10 horns. Now, the ancient Roman Empire, just a little side tip, what made it diverse from all the other past beasts is because, let's grab a precept pertaining to First Maccabees, and I believe, let's see, First Maccabees chapter 8, and let's see here. Yeah, this is what I want. First Maccabees chapter 8, and we're going to start at verse 15. It says, moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end they may be well ordered. Verse 16, and that they committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy or emulation among them. So in other words, that Senate represented them having a person in office that will rule over the country, much like what we have today, okay, which represents the like a president or a prime minister. And we call this the image of the beast, okay, because the image of the beast represents the laws, the architecture, the way of life, the philosophies going back to the ancient Roman Empire. This is where it originally started. So going back to Daniel, okay, chapter 7, verse 7, that's what made the 4th beast, which is the ancient Roman Empire, diverse from all the other beasts, because the other kingdoms that ruled in the past, they had an actual king, okay? And if that king was to happen to die or suddenly pass away, the next to throne was his heir, and usually it was his son, okay? But when the Greeks came into power, okay, started with Alexander the Great, he didn't have a son, so he ended up passing down, Okay, the rulership to his four generals. Once again, Ptolemy, Seleucus, Cassandra, and Lacedaemon. Okay, those were just four generals. And then out of their four generals, you had, some of their sons that came in and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be, when you go into secular history. But for the most part, when the ancient Romans came into power, they were the first to, pretty much set up a Senate house. All right. So now let's go back to Revelations, the 13th chapter, and deal with that beast that he, says was the Roman Catholic Church. So let's read this again. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. Now, when you get Revelations chapter 17, okay, the sea represents the nations of people. All right. When you drop down to, let's see here. Verse 15, Revelation 17 and 15. Salaki, I think I said Revelation 17 and 5. And it reads, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Okay, so that's what the sea represents when the beast rose up out of the sea. So going back to Revelations, the 13th chapter, okay, it says having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Now, the 7 heads is talking about the different kingdoms that the so-called white man, which is known as the biblical Edomites, ruled out of. All right, the 7 heads represent they first came into power under the Greeks, then the ancient Romans. Okay, and then they came back. Okay, out of the ancient Rome from the Spaniards, and then the French, Germania Major, Germania Minor, and then Great Britain, and then out of Great Britain, that 8th little horn, which was America. Okay, now the 10 horns represents the European Union and NATO. Okay, and to give you a visual of that, let's grab real quick this little template here. So this is the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns. Okay. Now, once again, the 7 heads, they represent the 7 kingdoms ruled by Esau, or the 7 governments. All right. And the first being the Greeks, which you can see here on the right, the Greeks. All right. Then you had Rome. Okay. Then you had the Spanish, the French, Germania Major, Germania Minor. And then you had Great Britain. And then out of Great Britain, you have America. Okay. Because America came out of Great Britain. Now, the 10 horns, when you get the understanding, represents the European Union, or what used to be called the European Economic Community, which is EEC, short for the acronym. And that was established in 1958. OK, and the first of it was Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Ireland, England, and West Germany, all to which, when you get Daniel, the 2nd chapter, where it talks about the iron legs, such as the clay and the mixture of the clay and the matter of fact, let me just get it. I don't want to butcher the scripture. Let's get the book of Daniel, chapter 2. Just jump straight to the point. And verse 40, it says, and the 4th kingdom should be strong as iron, which represents the ancient Roman Empire. For as much as iron breaketh it in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of the potter's clay, and part of the iron, the kingdom shall be divided. That's talking about right now, what's happening in the world today. Okay, this last rulership. But there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with mire clay. Now, the clay represents the pigs nations, which the pigs nations represents Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain. OK, and then you have the iron nations, which represents Belgium, Denmark, Luxembourg, Netherlands, UK. And I forget the other. It's one more. All right, which I believe is France. That's the 7th one, 6th one, Slovakia. Yeah, it's France. All right. So then you have NATO, which when you get the understanding, okay, NATO was established in August the 4th in 1949. All right, consisted of 19 nations, which is the acronym stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. These nations, okay, that came about represents the beast, okay? It's not talking about the Roman Catholic Church. So once again, overall, when you guys have the full understanding, the seven heads represents the governments or seven kingdoms ruled out of the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. The 10 horns represents the EU or the NATO. So now let's go back to Revelations, the 13th chapter. Okay. And it says, verse 2, and the beast which I saw was likened unto a leopard, which when you get Daniel chapter 7, verse 5, that leopard is talking about the start of their kingdom, which started with Alexander the Creep, okay, the Greeks. And his feet were as the feet of a bear, which the bear represents Russia today. Russia is likened unto a bear, and Russia will be the main cause, all right, to throw down this wicked system, starting when they drop those ICBM missiles, okay, over there in America. And you can get that in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, okay, because Russia is known as Gog and Magog, right? And his mouth as the mouth of a lion, okay? And the lion represents Great Britain because America came out of Great Britain, all right? Now it says here, verse 3, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. Now we have to stop here because what took down the ancient Roman Empire, what took down the ancient Roman Empire was a man by the name of Septimius Severus. Okay, when you grab Revelations, the 20th chapter, okay, let's start at the top. It says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit. All right, now that angel represents Septimius Severus because he was the first, okay, he was an actual Jake, okay, and he took down the ancient Roman Empire. Okay, the bottomless pit represents Europe, okay, because that's where it all took place, and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon. Now the dragon represents the ancient Roman Empire. That old serpent, which is the devil, okay? Notice it says that old serpent, okay? Because the same spirit, okay, going back all the way to Cain, even a serpent in the garden in Genesis, the 3rd chapter, that serpent is talking about these devils that's ruling right now, the Edomites, okay? Because the Edomites, okay, they were ancient Rome. They were the Greeks, and then they were the Romans, all right? Which is the devil and Satan when you get 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9, where it says, even him whose coming is after Satan. Okay, so Esau, Edom, the Edomites, they are the physical counterpart of Satan here on the planet Earth, and bound him 1,000 years. Why? Because when you get the Byzantine Empire, or what they call the Dark Ages, that lasted for a period of around 1,000 years. Okay, and that's when we were ruling in Europe. Okay, we were ruling over there in Scotland, Ireland, okay, Rome. Okay, Great Britain, before it was called Great Britain, it was known as Britannica. Okay, we were ruling over there, okay, for 1,000-year period. Okay, verse 3, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, which they have been, because that's when they started coming back around between the late 1300s up until the early 1400s. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. And we're in that little season right now. OK, he was loosed. Now, when you drop down in this chapter, when you drop down to verse 7, it says, and when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Now, when was he loosed? During a Renaissance era. OK, now, when you look it up, we have something that's called, matter of fact, let me grab it for y'all. When you look up Moors versus Wildman tapestry, okay, and show you the images. This is a depiction of when the Edomites, when they came down from the Caucasus Mountains, and then they took over, okay, and started, slaughtering us. They took us down. All right. These are all Israelites. This is when we were ruling. This was known as the Holy Roman Empire. OK, we built the castles and stuff that you see over there and parts of like Scotland and all of that stuff like that today. OK, that was built by us, not the so-called white man. This is history that they leave out. Right. All of these are Jakes, man. All right. And they called themselves the Moors. All right, which when you get, really when you get more, it simply means black in Latin, which is Kadar. Okay, and a lot of the Israelites at that time calling themselves Moors, which just means black. Okay, they were also called Moreno or Mulatto, and they were worshiping. They were into other philosophies, and they were also worshiping Islamic faith. Okay, they were into Islam. All right. So that's all of that secular history is right here. All right. This is going into the Black Moors of the 14th century. All right. And it tells you what happened. All right. And this is how the fight took place, man. So this is when the 1,000 period ended and they came down from the Caucasus Mountains. All right. And they took over. And then thus this ushered in what's known, or what was known back then, as the Renaissance era. Now, when you go into the root etymology, and I'm just taking my time, all right, going into this so you guys can get the real understanding. When you get Renaissance, all right, it literally means, okay, right here, rebirth. Okay, French Renaissance literally means rebirth. Okay, usually in a spiritual sense, grow anew. So rebirth from what? Rebirth from when they were originally in power. Okay, that's why we read Revelations, the 20th chapter. They were taken down, okay, by Septimius Severus. All right. And then after they were taken down, they were loosed a little season and they came back in. That's why they called it the Renaissance era, which means rebirth of them coming back into power. Okay. So now when you go back to Revelations, the 13th chapter, and now you can see, all right, he errs not knowing the scripture, because nowhere does it talk about the Catholic Church within the first 3 verses within Revelations, the 13th chapter. Okay, show me where the Catholic Church had 10 horns. Okay, show me where they had 10 countries that was under their power, right? It doesn't make sense. Now, when you drop down to verse 11, it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth and had 2 horns like a lamb. Now, the horns represents power. Okay, the 2 horns represented what we call today the Democrats and the Republicans. Okay, whereas in ancient Rome, you had the patricians, and I forget the other ones that it was called. All right. Verse 12, it says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, which was the ancient Roman Empire, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And how was it healed? We just read it in Revelations, the 20th chapter. He was loose for a little season, and they came back into power, known as the Renaissance era, or rebirth. That's what it means when his deadly wound was healed. Okay. Verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Why? Because when America came into power, okay, because America is the revival of the ancient Roman Empire. When they came into power, overall, Esau's miracles was through his technology. And through his technology, okay, one of the means of showcasing his miracle in front of the world was when they dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan. Because when they dropped the atomic bomb, okay, nobody would mess with them. Okay, all these other countries, they started to bow down and worship that beast system. Okay, because you had NATO at the time. All of these nations was joining themselves to the great whore, Babylon the Great, which is America. Okay, so through the means of Esau Edom's technology, okay, that's how he will be able to start, doing his wickedness here on the planet Earth, for lack of better terms. Right now, it says here, saying to them that dwelleth on the earth, verse 14, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. Okay, now what does the image represents? The image represents its way of life, such as the laws, philosophies, architecture, and everything. That's why when you look in America today, a lot of its monuments and building structures, stadiums, all of that goes back to the ancient Roman Empire and the way that Rome was built off of, and the way that Rome used to run. Okay, the same way Rome is run, that beast is speaking here again today. All right, in 2022. Okay. Now it says here, verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Okay. And then when you go into that word killed, right?
Strong's G 2443, Hina.
Salakia, did I get the wrong? Yeah. Yep. So this is the Greek word for killed, hina, that in order, that or so. All right. But it's a compound word. So when you go into, let's see here. Yeah. So this, that, these only significant renderings other than. So if you give you, for lack of a better term, right, when it says that they should be killed, in other words, if you didn't, believe or subscribe to, Salakia, here it is right here. That's the one.
Strong's G 615, Apoctino. Apoctino.
So if you didn't conform, all right, to Esau's way of life with him being, power over the entire planet, all right, as it says here, to kill in any way, whatever, to destroy, to allow to perish, metaphorically speaking, to extinguish, abolish, to inflict mortal death, to deprive of spiritual life, procure eternal misery in hell. Okay, because, Esau right now, okay, the Heavenly Father has him in a chokehold, all right, and is exposing him, all right, but the Heavenly Father hasn't fully let the leash off for him to really bring destruction, which is what he's about to do. And what I mean by destruction, I mean by him bringing hell. Okay, that's why the scriptures calls it Jacob's trouble. But at the moment, what can Esau Edom do to kill you? Well, he can cut off your credit, right? He can pretty much sanction you with different unrighteous decrees, make you pay fines, go to the church house, not the church house, Salakia, but go to the courthouse, okay, incarcerate you, and the list goes on. So there's many ways on how he can destroy you, okay? That's what it's actually talking about in retrospect, all right? And, for lack of better terms, if he wants to kill you dead on the spot, he can do that. Okay, look at all the police shootings and everything that's going on. One of the latest one dealing with the young lady who passed away, Breonna Taylor. All right, not to digress, but, ended up finding out that they set up and allegedly, for YouTube community guidelines. All right. It was due to them wanting to start some sort of gentrification. All right. So they went in there and, did what they did to that young lady, just to get her out, out of the way and stuff so they can come in and usher in what they wanted to do to that area where that girl was living in. But nevertheless, not to digress, let's continue on. Now we're going to get to the part because he said, in order to know what the mark is, you have to know what the beast is. Well, we know who that beast is speaking of the ancient Roman Empire, that fourth beast, but also America, because when you get real quick, Second Esdras, the 11th chapter, okay. Now watch this, verse 37. It says, and I beheld, and lo, as it were, a roaring lion chased out of the wood, and I saw that he sent out a man's voice unto the eagle. All right, now when you think of the word eagle, the first thing that should pop in your mind is the United States of America, but also the ancient Roman Empire, because their symbol was the eagle as well. Okay, and said, hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee. Okay, because the lion represents Yahushai. Verse 39, art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them? See, because that's how you know the ancient Roman Empire is back again today. But who's controlling it? America, because America is the great whore that sits on top of the beast system, which represents EU and NATO. So it was prophesied that, through the fourth beast, when Daniel prophesied it in the 7th chapter of the book of Daniel, okay, the fourth beast will be the last heathen empire to rule the world before the Israelites take over the kingdom. Okay, verse 40, and it says, and the fourth, meaning that fourth beast, came and overcame all the beasts that were past and had power over the world with great fearfulness and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. Okay, so-called white man. All right. So, that proves that. Now, he said earlier in his video, okay, let's play it back.
The mark of the beast. Some people think it's a computer chip, barcode, tattoo, vaccine, credit card, social security number, 666, and the list goes on.
And notice he didn't even give a clear breakdown understanding to what the MOTB is, but we're going to get it right here. Now, before we get into this, all right, I must pull this up. Now, to make sure that this video is not taken down, as you see here on the screen, we're going to use some code words. Okay, so as you see at the top here, we're going to use the word DVOC every time you see that word there on the left. And we're going to use the word MC device every time you see that word on the left. All right. So once again, I'm going to use the words DVOC and MC device. All right. Because they're not only shadow banning videos, but the algorithm will pick up on certain words and then videos will get taken down. OK, so now let's go into this Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And it reads, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a, you know what? You see that word there, in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, when we go into that word, M-A-R-K, okay, and we've got many videos on this, but let's get a basic understanding.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma. Charagma.
It says a stamp and imprinted M-A-R-K, okay, of the M-A-R-K stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. The M-A-R-K branded upon horses, things carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images, right? So when you drop down to the Strong's definition, it gives you a little bit more clarification. It says a scratch or etching, i.e. stamp, as a badge of servitude. So something is going to be scratched or etched within you. Let's see if we can, matter of fact, let's go to the root etymology to see where the word extends from.
Strong's G 5482. Charax. Charax.
Okay, now it says here to sharpen to a point, a pale or a stake, a palisade or rampart. All right. So there's going to be something that is sharpened to a point like a palisade. All right. That's going to cause a scratch or etching to be imprinted into your right hand or your forehead. So let's go a little bit deeper. This is where we have to learn how to look up certain words. Let's look up that word etching. Okay. It says, let's see here, a print produced by the process of etching, the art or process of producing etched plates or objects. Verb, engrave, by coating it with a protective layer, drawing on it with a needle, and then covering it with acid to attack the parts. No, we don't want that one. This is the one at the bottom here, number 3. To cut or carve, right, on a surface. A mark, a surface with a carved text or design. Okay, so something that's etched, right? Let's see here. Let's go back. And let's see what else we can get. Now, watch this. Etching, okay? It says engraving, print, impression, block, plate, dry, point, cut, wood cut, all right? So something is going to be etched, something's going to be cut, something's going to be imprinted into you, okay? A MC device, all right? Now, they also have the word incise here, okay? So let's see if we can look up that word incise in the root etymology. And we just going through the notion. Incise, it says, let's see here if I can highlight it. It says to make a cut. You see that? To cut into, cut open, engrave, into, in, on, upon. Okay? So something right here at the bottom, incise, make an incision into by carving or cutting. So there's going to be an incision that's going to be made either in your right hand or in your forehead, okay? And a MC device, okay, will be inserted in order for you to buy and sell. Let's go back to Revelations, the 13th chapter, right? Salakia. So let's read it again. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive that etching, that incise precision in their right hand or in their foreheads, okay, that charagma, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had that MC device or the name of the beast or the number of his name, okay? So now I got a couple of articles here, okay, pulled up. And the first one here that I have is from MSN.com, and it says, Amazon wants you to scan your palm to pay. Would you do it? Now, this was put up on August the 13th, okay, by Albert Curry. It says, have you set up an Apple Pay or Google Pay on your phone? It's a fast and easy way to make purchases without having to touch a keypad or reach for your wallet. And once you set it up, you can use it online in your apps. Now, look at the image here. You just wave your palm over this technology and, so my question, to you and to this individual here, you can't just walk up to something and wave your palm or scan your forehead unless you have something that's going to be, emitted for it to read. So you have to have something within you, okay, in order for that device to detect, okay, whatever it needs to detect for you to have access to complete that transaction or to enter into a building or to turn something on, right? Let's go back to the article. It says Amazon introduced its contactless payment method in 2020 and rolled it out nationwide starting last year. Amazon One doesn't require you to pull out your phone, but it does need your palm print. Okay. Now they're trying to make it, notice it says palm print, but it's actually more than a palm print because they actually have a video. If you YouTube it, just look up Amazon One cartoon, and you'll see the cartoon commercial that they came out with back in 2020. All right. And then that's all I'm going to say on that. It's not an actual palm print. They let you know that it's an actual MC device that's going to be incise or an etching. OK, going back to that word karatz, a palisade, a sharp instrument tool that's going to help insert this MC device. It says if this doesn't raise alarm bells for you, it should. Read on for the implication of this technology as Amazon expands its retail. All right. Now, it says Amazon One first appeared in Amazon Go stores before expanding to Whole Foods and other retail locations. Amazon is now adding its palm recognition payment system to more than 65 Whole Foods stores across California. The tech is already available in select Whole Foods stores in Texas, Washington, California, and New York. The concept is simple. You make purchases by scanning your palm over a payment device at Amazon's in-store kiosks. Do you see what's going on? And when you add this to the executive order 14067 that was signed on March 9th, 2022, okay, by Joe Biden, when you read that the article and some of the specifications that are outlined within that executive order, Okay, businesses will have what's called digital assets to help them to set up to usher in this digital currency. So you can see where this is clearly going, all right? And you can see how this actually fits Revelations, the 13th chapter, verses 16 to 18 on down. It says you don't need to touch the scanner at all. Just sign up in person at the Amazon One device using a credit card. Then you scan one or both of your palms and enter your mobile phone number. Now, this is what they're saying at first. But like I said, if we just type in Amazon One cartoon commercial, okay? And let's see here. I'm not going to play the video, okay, for copyright purposes, but notice she scans her hand, right? Now, in the article, they say that, you get your credit card, you register, whatever the case may be. That's BS, because when you watch this whole commercial, see if I can find it. You see that? There's the MC device. That device has to be implanted within you. You see how they put it in there? It's an actual device. And I believe they say it. I believe they say it because I haven't seen this in a while, but they're going to play on the fact that you won't need your, EBT card. You won't need your credit card. You won't need to tap your phone. You won't need to do any of that. You'll just need the palm of your hand. Okay. Look at them putting up the Baphomet sign. Look at that. Right. And this is what this is coming to. OK, they're just telling you that all it's just complete sign up. Well, no, it's not. It's not going to be a sign up with your email address and your credit card information. No, what it's going to be is you're going to have to get that MC device. OK, so that's just, one little thing. Thank you, Majigga. All right. Now, let's grab this article. OK, that was put up the 30th of March this year, 2022, the Renegade Tribune. And let's have a quick read. It says, back in 2016, Klaus Schwab predicted a future where everyone is MC device, okay, with brains hooked up to the internet. Oh, yeah, there are also AI robots, too. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to play this video, and please, guys, pay very close attention to the subtitles, okay, because they're going to be talking in a different language. So please pay attention in the subtitles.
Aujourd'hui, au bout de ça, on parle de puces qu'on pourra s'implanter. Ce sera quand ça?
Certainement dans les 10 années à venir. Et d'abord, on va les implanter dans nos vêtements, c'est-à-dire wearables, comme on le dit. Et après, on pourrait s'imaginer qu'on les implante dans nos cerveaux ou dans notre peau. Et à la fin, peut-être il y a une communication directe entre notre cerveau et le monde digital. Ce que nous voyons, c'est une sorte de fusion du monde physique, digital et biologique.
On appelle quelqu'un, on n'a même plus le réflexe de devoir prendre un appareil, ça se fait naturellement. Hein. La technique continue le corps.
Oui, vous parlez et vous dites, je veux maintenant être connecté avec n'importe qui. Hein? Et d'abord, vous avez les robots personnalisés. Et j'ai vu que M. Zuckerberg a prédit qu'à la fin de l'année, il va avoir son robot, son butler personnalisé qui est à sa disposition.
Donc, comme dans Downton Abbey, on aura son butler personnel, son serviteur, son esclave.
Oui, mais il y a une différence. C'est un serviteur qui, avec l'intelligence artificielle, apprend. Et qui n'est pas seulement votre assistant pour des travaux manuels, qui peut vraiment être un partenaire intellectuel de vous.
You see that, boy? And this is why the scripture says, okay, let's get the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he, man? Okay. And that wicked has been revealed pertaining to Second Thessalonians, the second chapter. Okay. This is what they're doing. Okay. It all goes back, right? Now watch this. This was published about 2 days ago, showing you that, okay, this individual here and everybody who follows this Christianity dogma, okay, has no idea of what they're talking about. Okay, but let's have a read. It says the WEF, which stands for World Economic Forum, suggests that there are solid, rational reasons for children to be MC deviced. Published 2 days ago. Okay, fresh off the press, ladies and gentlemen. It says the World Economic Forum is promoting augmentation technology to morph humans into cyborgs and recommend children be implanted with, you guessed it, MC devices. It says the MC devices will not only improve health by eradicating impairments like learning disabilities and depression, but pave the way for humans to attain superhuman capacities, contends on August 16th article published on the WEF website. Superheroes have been dominating big and small screens for a while, but there's a subtle change happening. Many children expect to develop superpowers themselves. You see how they plan on the mind of the people? It says these expectations may sound unattainable, but we are already making the first strides towards an augmented society, writes WEF agenda contributor Kathleen Phillips in a blog post titled Augmented Tech Can Change the Way We Live, but only with the right support and division. Now, when you go back and read, okay, Revelations 13, all right, what does it say? Verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a, you know what, in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now you understand why Elon Musk was set up, all right, to start testing those MC devices within monkeys, and then turned around and said they're going to start testing it on humans in 2022. So, you know, when this guy turns around and says, some people say that it's the computer chip, some people say it's the juice, the jab, some people say it's this. No, it's clear you don't know what it is, but call halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah that we have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, starting with the prophets, the apostles, and elders of GMS, better known as Great Millstone, okay, all the way down. We have the 144% truth. We are taking, okay, what they are telling us, and we are linking it to biblical prophecy, which is something that you cannot do, nor anybody else who follows you. You see that? Little Twitter post here from Mary Harrington says the cyborg age is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. And this is the reason why they are hastening, because they know that they have but a short time. So they're trying to get up their, global reset, their new world order, because Esau Edom is running out of time. It says, while MC devices are augmentation like cochlear implants or prosthetics are used remedy cognitive impairments, the technology will be used to enhance everyday life, particularly for the children who will benefit from developing ultrasensory perception, the article argues. And this is how they're going to address it. And this is how they're going to play on the minds of all of the people. This is why the scriptures tells you to, walk in the spirit, be circumspect, because the days are evil, and Esau Edom is going to play upon your flesh. They're going to make it seem like this is everything that you could have ever imagined a dream of. It's going to take away the unnecessary things that you don't have to worry about. OK, it's going to do so much for you. All right. So, I'll probably leave this link within the description box if you guys want to read it on your own. But this is what's coming, man. This is, okay, pertaining to Revelations, the 13th chapter. And if you can't see it, okay, then the Heavenly Father has put a stumbling block on you. Okay, because you're not meant to see it. You're not meant to get it. Okay, you're going to be sitting up there thinking that, the MOTB is the Roman Catholic papacy and everything, because right now they're over there signing a peace deal with the Arab nations and Israel to come together. They're trying to build the Abrahamic religion temple and all of that. That has nothing to do with what's talking about in Revelations, the 13th chapter. Okay, so now let's go back, because he mentioned Revelations, the 14th chapter. All right, and it tells you, let's start at verse 9. Well, matter of fact, we'll start at verse 8, because there's a point I want to make. It says, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen. Now, I would like to ask that gentleman, okay, if the first beast in Revelation, the 13th chapter, is the Roman Catholic papacy, who's Babylon the Great? Who would Babylon be? And knowing his answer, he'll probably tell you Rome, okay, which is incorrect. Babylon the Great today is America. It says Babylon is fallen, that great city, okay, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The wine represents her philosophies. Did the Roman Catholic Church make all nations drink of her philosophies? Okay. Did the nations, because it tells you also in Revelations, I think the 18th chapter, that the nations, they roughly paraphrasing, they made money off of her. Okay. All of these nations that were tied to America did business transaction, international affairs, all of that. Verse 9, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive, okay, that MC device in his forehead or his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. The fire and the brimstone is talking about those ICBM missiles that's going to destroy Babylon the Great, which is America, but also the heavenly hosts, along with Yahweh Shai. Okay, they're going to be zapping people. That's what it's talking about, dude. It says, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever. Okay, and that's not talking about literal. All right, that's just only talking about when the bombs drop. Okay, America is going to be left total desolate. Okay, when you get Isaiah the 13th chapter, Isaiah the 34th chapter, okay, Jeremiah chapter 50 and chapter 51. Okay, and it says, and they have no rest day or night. Okay, and worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the MC device of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahweh Shai. All right, so if you take, okay, that MC device, which is what they're planning to do, okay, you've been warned. We are sounding the trumpet. Okay, this is the warning shot, but it's not for, see, 2/3 of our people. Let's grab Isaiah chapter 30. Okay, because that's why 2/3 of our people are going to get destroyed. They're a rebellious house. They don't believe in this. Okay, this is Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. It says, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Because what's going to happen when this devil mandates this across the whole entire world? Okay, Jake, mainly our people, okay, they're not going to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. So in order for them to get their next meal, their next paycheck, they're going to bow down to this beast system, and they're going to take the MC device. That's what's going to happen. They're going to take the MC device. It says that walk to go down into Egypt, because what's spiritual Egypt today? America, pertaining to Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. And it says, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. And they're going to be confused because they're going to look and say, oh, okay, we got a way to make it. All right, America is back on top. Make America great again. Yeah, we're going to take the MC device, dude. Yeah, I can be able to turn my car on just by waving my hand. I can literally walk into the store and I could just swipe with the palm of my hand or scan my forehead and I can just get anything, dude. Yeah. Come on now. Verse 8, it says, now go write it before them in a table and note it in a book, which is the Holy Scriptures, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. And guess what? We're in that time right now. Verse 9, it says that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of Yahweh, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. See, they don't want this sound doctrine. But speak unto us what? Smooth things, prophesy deceits. And that's what this guy is doing here. He doesn't have the understanding. So let's get a couple of images to show you guys what really is up, man, what's coming. Okay, now I develop a little photo here. Okay, this is one photo of how that MC device is going to look. Okay, here's another one. All right. And this all has to do with what they call biometrics. Okay. Biometrics. Look that up. All right. Here's an article that I took going into one of the scientists from Switzerland. It says the MC devices developer. There's no stopping the MC devicing of humans. All right. And this was uploaded January the 5th, 2022, this year. So all signs points to you're going to be inserted, okay, with that MC device, man. All right. Here's another one. It's all starting to make sense, isn't it? Here's another one. And I'm just showing you guys the images. That's all I'm doing. Yahweh Rakhtazal, Lord willing, they don't take this video down. Okay. And here's a little screenshot I took of what Elon Musk was doing. Elon Musk Neuralink plans on implanting MC devices in humans by 2022. They've already started this. They've already started this. How many of y'all remember this video? And this was what? Posted up on December 9th last year, 2021. And then Jake could come up here on the comment board talking about you're misinterpreting the scriptures. You don't know what you're talking about. No, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't have the understanding. We have the understanding through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Now watch this video. I'm going to mute it because if I have the sound on, they're going to take my video down. So just watch the video. Now, this brother is in Walmart, and he's going to show you what Walmart is doing. Now, look at all of these steel doors. You got to scan your head, your forehead, as he points up, or you got to wave your palm. You got to scan your finger. No, not your finger, your palm. You see that? If you don't have that MC device. These doors are made out of titanium steel, as he says in the video. Okay, so when this system is rolled out, Walmart is going to lock them doors. And in order for you to even go in and get a drink or whatever, if you ain't got the MC device, you fresh out of luck. Look at that, man. You fresh out of luck. Do you see where this is coming from now? Do you all see it tying together? Because some people are going to comment on this video, putting their 2 cents in, talking about no, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not what that's talking about. Oh, okay. We don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, okay. So, back to this individual here, let's end it on this. Let's grab 1 Corinthians, Salakia. 1 Corinthians, the 8th chapter, verse 2, it says, and if any man think that he knoweth anything, he knoweth nothing yet as he ought to know. Okay? Because the scriptures tells you, let's grab Isaiah 8:20. It says, to the law and to the testimony, If they speak not according to this word, it is because there's no light in them. Okay. But see, Jake, right? That's let's get Romans. What's that? Romans 10? Not Romans 10. Forever learning, but not coming into the knowledge. Let's see here. Well, we can get Romans 10. That's still a good one. Romans chapter 10, verse 2, it says, "For I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High," because that brother has a zeal, but not according to knowledge. Okay? Because he went on the record to say that the beast in Revelation 13 chapter represented the Roman Catholic papacy, which we just proved that to be a lie. It doesn't represent the Roman Catholic papacy. It represents, okay, the ancient Roman Empire, okay, which started with the Greeks, the 7 heads and the 10 horns, okay? And then the second beast that was likened unto it, okay, that had 2 horns. The horns represents power. Your Democrats and your Republic is talking about America, that 8th little horn that came up out of Great Britain from the 7 head structure of the 7 heads and the 10 horns. That's what it's talking about, my guy. So, that's all I wanted to really tap into. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until the next time, Shalom.